Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of the TheCaliEffect. Today, we're going to be going over the Raccoon deck profile, a deck that you guys seen me play. Unfortunately, I am not able to do it in real life because Matt just so happened to take the piece, the small piece. It goes in between the tripod and the camera. You know, it holds the camera onto the tripod. Well, I need two tripods to record, and Matt just so happened to take one of the pieces, and he's in Oklahoma right now, so shout out to you, Matty Ice, for completely ruining everybody's real life version of the deck profile. Fortunately, there's not really anything too expensive or any too flashy, so you guys really didn't miss much. Let me get down to the deck profile, though. If you guys would like, the deck is like, the YDK is right in the description. 1 Beast King Barbarous, 1 Redox, 2 Junk Synchron, 2 Wind Up Kitten, 2 Ponpaco, 2 Valeryfawn, which also known as Bambi, 2 Sonic, 3 Rascals, or Tantans, I'm sorry, 1 Key Mouse, and that's going to sum up the 16 card monsters. For spells, we're going to run Raigeki, 2 Reinforcement of the Army, 3 Ayers Rock Sunrise, 1 Soul Charge, 3 Obedient Schooled, 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. That's going to sum up the 12 card spells. For traps, 2 Waboku, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 3 Dimensional Prison, 1 Compulsory Evacuation Device, 2 Chains, Wiretap, Blackhorn, and Solemn Warning. Couple of things I want to point out. You guys could run, what is this guy named? You guys could run Ponpaco in more quantities. The only reason why I don't really like Ponpaco in trips is because, unless you're opening with Ponpaco, he's kind of counterproductive. There really is only one genuine target for Ponpaco, so it's like, I mean, I'd rather open up a very satisfactory play. And then there's those times where you kind of just need Ponpaco in your hand opening turn. And so, like, I mean, you guys could run 3 if you really want him opening turn. Or you can just go my route and run 2 just because. The 2 copies of Wind Up Kitten is for the Burning Abyss Shadow matchup. I feel really solid if I, you know, just Wind Up Kitten or Shadow Wind to prevent them from going into the graveyard and grab a Shadow Fusion. Same thing with Dante, and I just really like Wind Up Kitten in here. I feel like that's completely optional as well. You don't necessarily have to run 3 Kitten. There's a couple of cards that I don't run that, you know, I used to think that were badass. Like, I know one is Tree Otter. Essentially what you do as Tree Otter is that you either Obedient School and bring out Beast, or you just have a maintained presence. You normal summon Tree Otter. You make your first Sandayu. Tree Otter's effect targets himself. He gets like 2200, and then your token gets 2200. There's a couple of other combos, but the biggest reason why I decided not to put him is because he's a water monster, and his effect isn't that great anymore. More often than not, I can just make Sandayu and make it as strong as a Winder, and that, I mean, if push comes to shove, that's what I use. Excuse me, to get over him. Next would be Surrey Burrow. Now, a lot of people on me teaching you guys how to play raccoons told me that I forgot him. I necessarily didn't forget him. He's not mandatory at all. He's decent. I mean, I feel that Valeryfawn really takes his place just because he's a light beast monster. And yes, it is nice to make fabled, is it Kubati? No, it's fabled unicorn sometimes, and unicorn can win you some games, but I just felt that it was just way too situational. I would need normally you would need him to the field, you would need another level 2 beast monster to the field, and you'd also need to have the exact same cards as your opponent. So I mean, it gets a little risky right there, and I just felt like instead of just trying to focus on summoning him, I should just be trying to make a better XC play or synchro play just to outright win the game, where I don't have to rely on having the same number of cards as my opponent. But I mean, it's a pretty good card. This card I took out just because, I mean, it's a pretty good card. Sea Koala. If you have another beast monster, you target one monster your opponent controls, its attack becomes 0. Dropped him just because, I mean, I just didn't feel a need for him. Like I said, there's just so many other combos I could be doing. There's so many other things that I could be doing. I really tried to focus on either making Valeryfawn plays, making Obedient School plays, or just bringing beast monsters back from my graveyard. Beast King Barbarous and Redox would helping to make those certain type of plays. I really didn't focus on any of the other things, like, you know, the unnecessary things. That's what I felt to do X amount of plays. And so far, as you guys can see in the 3 games, it was really solid. I really started changing the deck up because I don't want to risk dead hands either with, like, drawing Sea Koalas is really bad. At least if I draw a wind up Kitten, I'm like, I can kind of, get away with that. Sonics aren't really that great either. I normally use him because he's amazing in the Quillfort matchup, and I don't want to lose in Quillforts. I mean, granted, I'm like, you're really climbing. You're going up a string without a paddle when you're playing Raccoon against Quillfort. But I just want to be a little extra. I want to be as prepared as possible. This is really, you're going to use them for back row destruction. If you're playing against some rogue, then obviously you're going to be hitting monsters. Key Mouse. Excuse me. The only reason why I play Key Mouse is the ease to make Naturia Beast. Had Naturia Beast still be extremely easy to make without Key Mouse, I probably wouldn't be playing it. Other than that, Key Mouse is still pretty good though. He does allow you to, he does have a decent effect when destroy battle. You get to add in your beast monster, so that's not bad. So I was like, whatever. Junk Synchron, I feel, is like the power plays of this deck. Junk Synchron, Beast King, Barbarous, Redox. Like, you can just make so many good plays. You can make Junk Synchron really, really strong. You can make Armades with ease. You can make Frozen Fitzgerald with ease. And I just felt that that was just like a really good thing that you should be doing. And Junk Synchron is a one-card synchro monster, so I was like, whatever. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, everything else is pretty self-explanatory. And for spells, the 3 Obedience Schools are obvious. The 3 Ayers Rock Sunrises, because I want as much revival as possible. And the Soul Charge. For traps, I really don't like 3D Prison. If I can find 3 cards to take out for D Prison, I would. But so far, D Prison hasn't even been that bad. It's actually been pretty good on stopping the opponent's attacks. Blackhorn and Wiretap have been extraordinarily well. Blackhorn stopping synchros, pendulums, all that other stuff. Because in the TCG we can do that. And Wiretap being able to, just negate the opponent's traps, really helpful. Wabokus are really good. I was running Trapstuns and Vanity's Emptinesses in here, but this is one of those decks that I feel that Trapstun and Vanity's Emptiness should not be ran in here, just because you need that extra room for, other things. Next, for spells, we're going to be running 1 copy of Star Eater, Leo, wait, what is he called? Oh, it's just Guard Beasts of the Sacred Tree, okay. Crimson Blader, Stardust, Black Rose, Goyo, Barkion, Frozen Fitzgerald, Armades, Junk Synchron, Naturia Beast, Sandayus, and Gachi. Now, to be honest with you guys, I really could drop this Stardust and just add my favorite girl. I can just add Down Syndrome Magician, just because, you can just overlay one of these guys in main phase 2 if you don't need it anymore. Make a really nice card that inflicts piercing damage. I feel like really everything is pretty obvious in here. Star Eater, you make it with Beast King, Barbarous, and Junk Synchron. It helps you get over a Quillfort Killer. Whatever bad player still plays that, and Star Eater is just a really good card. Leo is extremely easy to make as long as you have Beast King, Barbarous. If you open Obedience Schooled in Leo, you can make a token that's 3100, a Leo, and a Sandayu, so it's like whatever. Crimson Blader, I think, is the MVP level 8 synchro monster in the game, period. I mean, if you guys don't know what Crimson Blader does, then maybe you've been out since Dragon Ruler format. But like I said, it is the best level 8 synchro, hands down. Black Rose is obvious, Goyo is obvious, Barkion stops traps. Frozen Fitzgerald is kind of like an Armades, but it can be special summoned again when your opponent destroys by battle. Against certain decks that you want to just bring this out. Armades is Armades. Junk Warrior you make really strong, and this is the card I want to use to lock out certain decks like Quillfort, maybe even Shadows from going into Fusions, etc. You can do double Sandayu lock, and Gachi is like your only other option. I feel that all the other level 2s aren't that great, so yeah. As for the sideboard, 3 Spell Shattering Arrows, Defy, Macro, 3 Mistakes, Soul Drain, triple Stygian Dirge, and triple Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. The Stygian Dirge is really for Rogue. Like Satella Knight and stuff. I really consider it Rogue. Any deck that just kind of prevents you from doing what you do, because XC decks tend to be the decks that hurt you a lot. So Stygian Dirge is right there. I actually played quite a few Madolches. I know it's like really random that people still play Madolches, and Stygian Dirge just completely shuts them out. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror is obvious. Normally I give them the Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, Defy, Macro, Soul Drain treatment. So yeah, hopefully if I draw all my options, I shouldn't lose. I mean, the only problem is you have to watch what you play in your main board, since you are kind of graveyard reliant. But you just have to remember, they're more graveyard reliant than you. Mistake is for Quillfort, and so is the Spell Shattering Arrows. There was a time where I was actually sideboarding Fairy Winds, and that did not work out well. But I feel like Spell Shattering Arrow is obviously superior in here. Granted, I do care about their Vanity's Emptiness, their skill drains such as the So-So, but I also want to keep my floodgate cards like Mistake up on the field, or even Stygian Dirge if I'm playing against a deck that, you know, is going to mainboard some cards that Spell Shattering Arrow can beat, or even Shadow Imprisoning Mirrors. So I just felt that Spell Shattering Arrow was like a lot better than Fairy Wind in this predicament. The deck is really good. It's won all the games you guys seen on Dueling Network. Ever since I changed it up to this build, I haven't really seen too many bad games or any extremely horrible games. Just like any Raccoon deck, unfortunately, there is some room for clog, no matter how you build it, no matter how you play it. Opening up Obedient School in Ayers Rock Sunrise is probably like the best thing, or any given time where you can activate Obedient School, it's going to get you some considerable pluses. Well, that's pretty much it for the Raccoon deck profile. Thank you guys for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.